Be sure to check out my latest video, The Cable Guy, and also Five and Below, where I pick up these beautiful action figures and I show you the inside of one of my favorite honey holes. You guys and girls be safe out there. Peace. Hey, what's up, comic book peeps? Welcome to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition, and today I'm just chilling with my kids downstairs in the dungeon. And we're going to be kicking it old school. That's why I have some of your favorite wrestlers from the old school era in the background. Because we're going to be kicking it old school part 2. So you know how we do on this channel. Without further ado, let's get into some comics. And this episode of Direct Edition is brought to you by My Fate Darth Maul from China. Alright, so let's get into some comics, man. Okay, so you guys were commenting on one of my videos where I showed you, I think it was Kicking It Old School, part 1, where I showed you some foil covers. And Lord and behold, I went in Second and Charles, and I looked in the 50 cent bin, and I got a beautiful copy of Avengers West Coast that I didn't even know they had. And it's called like Emboss, something like that. That y'all don't correct me in the comments, okay? Just let me say it the way I want to say it. But this is a hundred issue of Avengers West Coast 64-page anniversary blockbuster. Mephisto and the West Coast Avengers on the front. I didn't even know that they had a red foil cover. So when I saw it, I was like, wow, right on time after I finished shooting the other video. So this is a very cool find. It's going to go with my Avengers, the gold, the bronze, the silver cover. And the beautiful thing about this is not a spine tick in the world. Now, for these not to have spine ticks on them, I mean, you have to be lucky, because I've collected them for years and been very careful with mine. And no matter what, they always develop spine ticks because they're just spine tick leeches, I guess. They just have to have spine ticks on them. So if you find a book like this without a spine tick on it, you're a lucky man. So I call myself one lucky son of a bitch. Oh yeah, one bonus to this book is I think it came from the Mothball Collector, because it smells just like mothballs, which is disgusting. One thing about Second and Charles is you will always run across the same comic books over and over. And I ran across this Wonder Woman again. This is number 284 from October. I don't know the year. Let me look inside of it to see. Yeah, it's from 1981, which is very cool, man. And the cool thing about it is, as soon as I opened it up, it had an ad for, well, not even when I opened it up. Look right here on the cover. It has an ad for Superman 2. And I just remember seeing the one with Richard Pryor in the movie theaters. Number 2 is the one with General Zod. So very cool Wonder Woman cover. With her on the dragon, do you have Huntress and Robin? And also something I thought you old school heads would get a kick out of. Let's look at the back of the book. And here's a really cool old school advertisement. So, yeah, there you have it. All right, let's keep kicking it. So, because they brought back the Marvel 2-in-1, I've definitely been a big fan of, anything with Thing on it, or anything with like team ups and stuff like that. So I thought it was very cool, and I picked up this, what is it called? It's a 1 and 4 issue limited series of Adventures of the Thing, which is very cool, man. So not only was I blessed to pick up number 1, excuse me, I almost grabbed the number 1 right in front of you, but I picked up the Adventures of Thing number 2, cool Joe Quesada cover. All these are newsstands, so very cool. So not only did I pick up number 2, Y'all excuse my baby coughing in the background. You know, we just had the snow days. So, number two, we also have a beautiful copy of number three featuring the Avengers. And did I get number four? Let's see. And to finish it off, I got number four with my favorite. I ain't gonna lie, I like Man Thing over Swamp Thing. And I've known Swamp Thing longer than I've known Man Thing, but I really enjoy Man Thing better than Swamp Thing. And the cool thing about Man Thing is that he's actually older than Swamp Thing. So very cool, man. I actually got the 4-part limited series, and I was happy. And as soon as I bought these home, I double bagged them, sealed them up, put them away. You know what I'm saying? And just glad I have it. But Man Thing, yes, he's one of my favorite superheroes, and I don't know why, but I think he's very cool. Speaking of Man Thing, here's one of my favorite Marvel Legends of all time. This is the Man Thing Marvel Legends. A lot of people burst theirs out of the package, but you know I prefer mine still mint on card. But it, man, just beautiful, man. You got the frog. Look at all the detail in the diorama, and just a very big fan of Man Thing. Words can't describe how detailed this old school Toy Biz Marvel Legends figure is. And I just pulled him out of the dungeon because I wanted you guys to see this again. Very cool. So I'm just going to live turn him. I'm not even going to, you know, hold off. This is one of the earlier series before they started doing the Build-A-Figure. Of course, you know, all these figures are about $40 and above if you're looking at buying them online. I actually got the Man Thing from Dave's Comics a while back, and I remember talking him down to giving them to me for about 25, I think, which is unheard of because you know these Toy Biz Marvel Legends are rare. So you guys keep collecting the new Toy Biz Marvel Legends. These are my holy grails. Every time I get one, it just feels like, you know, it's like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, or Indiana Fred and the Crystal Skull. You know, it's almost like I hit a jackpot because I just love these old school figures, man. And I'm still hurting by the fact that I opened up a lot of my older ones and actually gave them away, which was so stupid. But I didn't know that these would be a hit, um, you know, later on in life. All right, so let's get back into the comics. Let's put him here, and we'll keep those up. But let's get into some comics. Got my son down here with me. And I know this is not really old school, but this is The Reign of Superman, Adventures of Superman from 1993. Connor Kent, who is a clone of Superman and also of Lex Luthor. So very cool. Definitely, you know, if you're a fan of the 90s, this is the way to go. Very cheesy haircut. I like Superboy now, how he is. And I definitely love Superboy Prime. And I also like Jonathan Kent. So I definitely love Connor Kent, definitely love Jonathan Kent, definitely love Superboy Prime. And very cool cover. Yeah. This is an old school Superman book that I'm always going to pick up. This is Bloodsport. He's actually a white supremacist. I remember getting this for Christmas back in the day. I still have that copy. Hold on, let me go in the dungeon and let me get it. And here's my original copy right here. I'm surprised I didn't throw it out in the purge because of all the spine ticks. But very cool, man. Definitely glad to have this Adventures of Superman 507 back in my collection. Definitely a cool read. Definitely love Blood. I don't love Bloodsport. He was actually a complete jackass, but very cool. And while we're on the subject of Bloodsport, I was actually surprised to see that they had another Bloodsport who was actually black. So that's the reason why I picked this up. We're fast forwarding it to the year 1995, I think. Let me see. It says August Uh, yeah, allow my 60 fingers to interrupt your video. August of 1995, so that's still pretty much old school. Um, but the reason why I picked this up is because I'm used to this blood sport, but I'm not used to seeing that blood sport. So it's going to be interesting to see um, if he's a black supremacist because he actually looks black. And then you got the mullet Superman, which is very cool. So I got one more old school Superman book to show you, and we'll move on. Now, if you really want to see a cool video, I meant cool video. If you really want to see a cool comic, this is a cool comic to pick up. This is Eclipso, The Adventures of Superman. This is when Superman actually went rogue, and Eclipso, who will basically take over your body. He actually infected Superman, and Superman was like living in this volcano. And the only person that can really bring the fight to Superman is the main man right there on the front cover, Lobo. So every time I see this copy, I end up picking it up. This will be my second copy. I'm trying to upgrade it to where I get it in, a good mint condition. So very cool. Definitely glad to have this back in my collection again. And yeah, well, Eclipso actually infected Maxwell Lord in the Suicide Squad versus Justice League run. So that is who Eclipso is. So very cool. Hey Fred, you gonna be quiet while I'm shooting? Wow. While I was putting this away in the dungeon, I realized that one is a variant to the other. I did not know that, 505, The Adventure of Superman, actually had two covers. That's very cool. So one is a variant. I wonder which one is a variant. All right, so let's get this thing crunk up. We got Youngblood Strike File, which has Chapel on the front cover. If you don't know anything about Chapel, Chapel is the one that actually killed Al Simmons, who is actually Spawn. And in response to that, Spawn actually put that skull on Chapel's face um, forever. So cool drawing. I'm not sure if it's Jay Lee on the front cover. Let's check and see. Yeah, that's my boy Jay Lee on the front cover, and like I said, that's pretty cool. Even though Chapo was a mercenary, just like Al Simmons and Spawn, he actually ended up joining the Young Blood. And what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to show you one of the old school things that they used to do on the Young Blood Strike File, which I thought was very cool. My boy Area 51 is a big Image fan, so he already knows what I'm going to do. And there you have it. You just flip it over, and you got a beautiful Rob Liefeld cover. And I think his name is like Super Patriot or Patriot, the guy on the front. He's basically like Image's knockoff of Captain America. I think that Patriot used to be like an android back in the day or something like that. But very cool, man. Definitely love my Young Blood Strike File. Anytime I see this book, I'm going to pick it up until I have, maybe 2, 3 copies. And yeah, very cool. Look at it. Such a knockoff of Captain America. You have Patriot, then you have this guy who's kind of like Superman. And then you already know who that's supposed to be. That's definitely supposed to be Wonder Woman. Wow. And to think that we thought Image was going to actually take over and put Marvel and DC out of business. I mean, they gave them a run for their money. They're still a good company, but uh, wow. Imitation is the best form of flattery. Picked up an old school What If Cable Had Destroyed the X-Men. Very cool cover. Got Cable looking all big and buff on the front. Very cool. I also picked up What If Vision of the Avengers Had Conquered the World. You got a cool Doctor Doom and Hydra cover. Very cool. I'm watching Fresh Prince in the background, so you might hear it. But very cool, man. And I'm glad to get these old schools in my collection. They're not very, very old school. But if you stay tuned, I'm going to show you. The comics just keep getting older and older. Okay? All right, so let's keep going. So this is Spider-Man number 20, a very cool cover, man. This is Spider-Man and Solo. And then you have Deathlock, you have the Hulk, and you also actually have Nova. I remember around 1992 when I got this book, and I just really cherished it and enjoyed this book. The artwork was great. I'm not sure who the artist is. Looks like it says Eric. I'm not even gonna pronounce it anyway. But it's very, very cool, man. Definitely a part of my childhood. Definitely a part of kicking it old school. So very cool. Another cool book that I have is X Men #3. I always show this in my videos. I think I'm up to like my third or fourth copy. Definitely love this Jim Lee drawing. The Jim Lee X Men is a part of my childhood, and I will always kick it old school with it. Definitely love this book, man. This is when Magneto actually kidnapped some of the X Men and mind wiped them. So it's the X Men Gold team versus the X Men Blue, and it doesn't get more serious in Gambit versus Archangel. Wow, just look at that coolness. Look at that. You tell me why I'm not in love with it, why I'm in love with this cover. Just crisp white background. Very cool. Love the Colossus holding Wolverine up in the air. Just awesome, man. Awesome. All right. And so we're at the point of the video where you asked me, Fred Hall Direct Edition, what are you reading right now? Man, and this is what I'm reading, man. I actually got around to actually reading this Thunderbolts. And wow, what can I say? I just really, really love the era of Dark Reign when Osborn actually took over. What happened was in this book, you had a Thunderbolt named Swordsman who took over the Thunderbolt space. And Norman Osborn had to actually dress up as the Green Goblin and actually take on the Swordsman. So if you heard all that noise in the background, I apologize. That was my kids. But definitely love this book, man. Definitely love this hardcover. And here's a cool look at the front of the book. And here's a cool look at the back of the book. Like when I first bought it, I told you guys that's what I was trying to read, but I finally got around to reading it. And I really love the character of Speedball, how he turned into Penance. And I also like Songbird, which is the girl with white and pink hair. So very cool, man. Definitely love this book. And actually had a guest appearance by Dr. Sampson, which was very cool. So here we go. All right, let's get into your main events. So your first main event is going to be the Mighty Thor 441. This is a very cool cover. This is Loki's back. Loki's back, and this is actually a green cover. This book is a follow up to a book that I've always had in my collection. But when I saw this cover, man, I just thought that green cover was just awesome. This is a main event just strictly off the cover and the fact that I like it, and definitely love the character of Loki. And in this comic book, you have Beta Ray Bill, you have Thunderstrike, you actually have the original Thor, and they're all in like this kind of game. And the last character that they have to beat is Loki. And so this is the follow up to that, or this is the issue where Loki appears. So very cool first main event. Your next main event is Marvel Team Up Spider Man and the Spider Slayer, but it's actually what are they called? It actually has the Defenders on the front cover, which is very cool, and it's actually like a newsstand. So very cool, and this is from 1981. Anytime I see any of the Marvel books with this type of excuse me, you like my sexy fingers with this type of header, I'm usually quick to pick them up because I know that they're old school. So definitely love this book. Glad to have it in my collection. Glad to have this old school. So let's keep going. So your next main event is actually Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing and Man Thing. And I actually thought this was pretty cool, man. Definitely love this book. Thought it was very cool. Uh, Glad to have it in my collection. And what more can I say, man? This is a jewel, man. This is Thing and Man Thing. And you also have the Howling Commandos at the bottom of it. So very cool. Glad to have this to show to you guys because I love the Man Thing. So here we go. That's your last main event. All right. And so, once again, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. Remember, focus on the ones that show you love, on the ones that don't show you love. Just forget about them and we'll keep on moving without them. And I will catch you guys and girls later. Be safe out there. Peace.